Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because I don't give advice. All right, I'm back. Like, subscribe, notification bell, share, tell your family and friends, and all that fun stuff. So, very quickly, where have I been? Well, for those of you that don't know, at the end of last year, middle end of last year, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, so I had to take her to all the treatments and all that because I'm more family first. And at the same time, I'd started a room, so I put my focus into those two things. So I will be doing more videos. I will be doing more stuff on social media and all that. But let's just kind of jump into it because there've been a lot of things going on, but we'll just kind of catch up to where we are now and kind of start from here. So what do we have going on right now? Let's take a look at this. We got this trend line. I love trend lines. For those who know me know that I love trend lines. And what we had here, now we're looking at the SPY. So what we have here is roughly a shark. Just a pretty little old shark pattern. So what are we getting off that? We're getting a retrace off of it. Getting that nice, possibly nice 5-0 pattern. So that should give us, over time, if it works out the way that these patterns should work, it should give us roughly a 50% retrace, somewhere down in this area around 400. So let's look at, we can zoom into days as well, but let's kind of see, because if we were to draw this out and retrace it, did we get our 88.6? We did get our 88.6. Now let's jump over and look at the continuous ES. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Look at this. What did we get here? We got an 88.6, but we almost got a 1.0 retrace, but this shark really should only be an 8.86. Why did that happen? Well, let's go look here. Because the ES hadn't completed this yet. Now we're talking about not the continuous contract, we're talking about the ESM. And if you look, this ESM, after we got those pullbacks for those first sharks on the SPY and the continuous ES, is what we ended up with, right? We pulled back, but we still hadn't completed it here. Does that mean that always happens? No. But, more, I would, in my opinion, more often than not, you're going to get the completion on the major ones, right? You're going to get it on SPY, you're going to get it on the continuous, and you're going to get it on the ES unless there's some kind of major hiccup, which will change some of the retrace, but not too much. So longer term, if you notice, so now that we're over to the ES, and I've kind of swapped over to looking more at the ES. I mean, we still do dark pool prints and all that fun stuff over on SPY, but I've found that over time, as I've moved to ES, I've gone to trading ES in this time that I've been away. ES, NQ, typically more futures. It's not that I don't trade tickers like NVIDIA and all that, still do any of that, but, I've found that ES and the continuous ES and SPY together tend to give a much better picture. I'm not going to go through all of this all the time, but we'll just kind of look through it where we were, kind of how we got to where we are now. So as we were building this shark, we kind of rode this channel, right? Every time we would pull through this channel, it was just a buy the dip and take it up. So this was several days of, kind of squeezing shorts, right? We were just kind of slowly trickling. We'd find stops, get a pop, and we'd just kind of move on up. Got to the top of this trend here, or top of this channel, pull back. Had a really hard time with this 4100 area. So, and this is on the ES. So if we were to flip over here, it would be somewhat similar. Now here is where things tend to be a little interesting. So if we were to go draw this line, this is why I tend to use both. So, let's see here. So if we were to go, not this wick, but just right here where all this support is, which gives us that sweet little 4100. We jump over to ES, the continuous here, and we were to draw that line. Interesting how that works, isn't it? So this is why I do all of them. You find better areas of support, and you can understand why you're stopping at a particular level, right? They all tend to get respected to some degree. Now, what was it? We had this shark that kind of gave us a little bit of sharkness, right? And then what we ended up getting as we started to retrace this thing is we started to get this. This is what I love about, and when you get a nice measurement of a Head and Shoulders that is within a shark, oh, they're just so beautiful, right? So that's a Head and Shoulders. You know, if this thing were further up here, that's not a real Head and Shoulders. There's something else going on. This is a Head and Shoulders. You can measure this out beautifully. Beautiful harmonic Head and Shoulders. So within here, we started getting these patterns, right? All these patterns to start kind of pushing us up, right? That's why we ended up way up here. And so here we are, up here at this top. Got this top up here, got this nice rounded top. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Got these trend lines, right? Had a hard time breaking through. And this is a lot of catch up, so I'm not going to do a ton of it. I try to keep these videos as short as I can. So here's what we have here. Beautiful, beautiful, right? Had a hard time breaking through this, right? So we just kind of rode the trend down. So then let's start zooming in here. So this is the continuous. The ES looks very similar, if I recall. Yeah, very similar, very similar. Okay. Let's look at SPY. Yeah, same dealio. Okay. So let's take a look at the last 2 days. See what we've got on the last 2 days. So I posted on some social media. So I created an Instagram just to throw some images out there. Got a TikTok that we set up basically we set it up for the room. So there's not just me. So there are other people in this room. There is a couple of people in there outside of me that are kind of helping out. One of which that is running the room. So you'll probably start seeing content from him. It's a guy named Balbs. Really good volume profile guy. Really started to push me into volume profile. So I've started really, really digging pretty heavily into that, and TPO and all that fun stuff. So here we are. Let's look into these last couple of days here. Let's go down to, let's start out at the hourly. Let's see what that gets us here. Okay, not too shabby. So let's take and measure this. So it's a butterfly pattern, right? Beautiful little butterfly pattern here. Got us kind of set up. We pulled through, stopped at this 113, pulled down to the 272. And I mean, we really respected that 272, but then we just kept going. So why did we keep going? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger pattern we're trying to play out. Oh yeah, that's right. Remember that 5-0 we talked about? Trying to get that. So these patterns are going to help us make that 5-0. So we've got several patterns that could try to help us get down there. We've got this here, right? What does that give us? That gives us a shark, possibly. It's pretty deep, though, for a shark if we're actually going to get that thing to work out. So let's look at where the 886 of this shark would take us. That would take us down to here. Okay? And then let's go and remeasure this entire move. Well, would you look at that? Look at this right here. So where does a 5-0 take us? Roughly to 5-0. There are other things that can be done within a 5-0, but I'm not going to get into the details because I save a lot of this stuff for people that that are in the Rube Daily, kind of listening and learning this stuff. But typically, you want to see a 5-0 get down to this 50%, hence why it's called a 5-0. Look at where this 886 of this shark takes us if it works out. Very interesting, huh? This is how we start looking at these things. These are the kind of things we want to see. So if we get down here, fantastic. Be great. It'll take us down, closer to 4,000 if we could get down there. Maybe even try to get us down here to this little trend line and get us a nice little bounce around 39. That's going to take us a little while to get down here probably, so we'll call it 39.60 maybe 39.80 if we take longer. So now now we know what we're kind of looking for long term. Does that mean we're not going to turn around and rip in the other direction tomorrow? No, that doesn't mean that. But, just based on the way things are going, it's not as likely, I would say. So now let's look at our 5-minute chart. Let's scroll back over to yesterday. Yesterday's Friday. So let's look at the day before as well. Why not? Get anything the day before? If we go zooming in, looking to see what we got here. Nothing. Yeah, not too bad. All right. So, all right, sorry, just need to catch up here a little bit. All right, what did we have yesterday to play? Well, around the open, we got a push. We started building this particular pattern here. So this particular pattern, this little shark, right? Pulled down, got our 113, which was respected, right? It was respected. But then we just said, nah, we're just going to keep going. All right, so we did. We just kept on going. Just followed this trend down. Followed it on down. Very beautiful day. Very beautiful day. So, why did this happen? Well, if you understand the open and you understand what possibly happens when we open in certain parts of the previous range or outside of previous range, then a lot of these things become a bit more clear as to why they occurred. So, we're not going to get into that right now, though. That's something that's a bit more complicated. So, where's the trade on this? Well, let's get to basics here. The basic part of this trade, we broke, right? We broke this trend. When we did, we pulled. Zoom in the 1 minute here. Pulled through it. We came back and retested it. And guess what? Down we went. Down she went. Okay. That's not what we want. What are the other setups we had? Well, there were a couple. So if you were looking to bounce this thing, see, the problem a lot of people have is when they're trying to bounce, they try to find bottoms. Do you see this right here? This is all the people trying to find bottoms. Try to find a bottom, gives you this fake push. And guess what? Boom. Find your stops. Fake push, find your stops. Fake push, start finding stops all over the place. So we rode this trend down, rode it down, rode it down, rode it down. And look at that. Look at that right there. So, where's our first potential play? If we want to get on a smaller scale, if we're just going to do some scalping. Nice little W here. Could have played that. What'd that give us? We'll call that, should have been a bat. Didn't quite make it there because we hit this trend line and pulled back again, right? Which gave us a little bit of a shark. So, that's our shark. Even put another trend line here, we'll say. We could kind of say that that shark played from here a bit. Why not? But this thing could play from a lot of places. But either way, this is what you want to do, right? You want to look at it, break through, come back, find some respect in the area, and then you kind of take it long. Could we have played it somewhere else? You could have tried to play it down here if you look at what the retrace was. We hit the 414. Yeah, that's a tough one though. You got this, you got this kind of terminal looking bar down here. You could have played that. Something similar to what you had here. Right? That didn't really give you a lot of a move though. So yeah, there we go. That's for yesterday. All right, so then we had one more move. So that move took us up. Then we had this other move where we got up here, tried to make a Gartley, give or take. And it was a bit of an extended Gartley. There's a name for those. I can't remember what they're called. Let's see here. maybe an Alt Gartley or something like that. But it hit the 886, right? So we pull back, get up here around this 618. It's a little more than 618. It definitely pushed beyond where we really want to let it go, but got up here. Break that area. Came back and respected it. Took it up, right? So what else could we have played? Well, there's a little scalp here. Could have played that M to the downside, as long as you're not trying to take it too deep. See, what you have to pay attention to here is that I'm currently looking at the 1 minute chart, right? So on a 1 minute chart, you got to understand these are 1 minute chart patterns. We're not looking to take these things, all the way down off of a 1 minute chart. You want to start looking for bigger plays, you need to be jumping over to, at minimum, 5 minute chart, right? So now if you look at this on a 5 minute, that does not look like a nice M setup for a 5 minute, right? So that's why it's more of a scalp. So, and let's see if we followed any sort of trend here. Probably not. Yeah, not really. We kind of broke this trend to give us that little pull. Right? I mean, just a lot of a wonky fake out day after that. Got that nice pull though in the early day, which wasn't so bad. All right, so let's look at what we had today. So overnight, so based on the way we opened yesterday, my take yesterday is in the room, especially when we were talking about it, was that we were going to try to get, I was looking for 41.65 and we got to 41.64.25. So I was looking for a push to 41.65 and I was looking for a pull. And so we got 41.64.25 or 50, pretty close. And then we got that pull, right? That's what we were looking for. That's what I was looking for. And so then from there, part of the reason, a big part of that reason actually is that, look at this, look at that trend, right? We wanted to hit that trend line, maybe try to break through it, give a little bit of a fake. Now, if we would have started basing on top of this thing and pushing, trades no more, right? You got to wait for it. But what we did get, got a tap, respected it again, pushed through a bit, and then we got the pull, right? Respected that trend line again when we got up here. Now, I was really looking yesterday to break this low. I really wanted to break this low, but based on the way that we opened, it wasn't as likely, unfortunately. Now, we ended up doing it overnight, which is great, right? That's what I really wanted, was to kind of break down here, break this low, give us a nice that, and it did. Fantastic, right? So we had a nice little potential shark here overnight. Didn't really notice that. I didn't pay attention. I don't typically trade at night. And then what did we get today? Well, we got an open that really tried to move outside of the previous day's range. And it just never stopped, right? So, where do you enter? Well, it depends on if you understand how the open works. If you understand how the open works, then you might have been able to play that. Otherwise, if you don't understand it and you're trying to catch this and move, you're basically trying to catch this all day and run it the other direction, stop trading. If you don't understand the move and why you're getting in it, then don't trade. So where were the possible plays? Well, let's see here. So if we were to retrace this and we get this, right here in this area right here to maybe try to give us a shark, and you tried to enter here, and then you started to push and then you pulled, hit your stops, that trade's done. Pulled through the 618, you pulled through the maximum pull of that shark. It's no more. It's not a pattern anymore. So what do? Well, you either understand what's happening and you trade it down, or you wait if you don't understand what's happening. So from there, what do you get? You get these little setups down here. One 618. What does that give us? Gives us a shark. We're at 786. One of the failure points of a shark. Now, let's just say we measure that shark from here. Well, I'll just be damned. Look at that. Right at the 886. Does a shark always complete at the 886? No. But if you don't understand when it completes there versus somewhere else, happy to teach you that stuff. But this is the stuff you need to understand if you're going to be trading. So, yeah, this is where we are. So what are we looking for tomorrow? You know, it depends. It depends on a lot of things. Because now we jump back out to the hourly. Oh, that is the 4 hourly. Let's look at the hourly. We are currently, we're really trying to get this pull down to this 5.0. We are trying, really trying, earlier today anyway. We tried to pull through the midpoint down here. Now, of course, after hours, we had decent earnings, didn't we? What do those earnings do? Gave us a bit of a rocket in the other direction. Microsoft and Google, I think. So now here we are, trying to push through some resistance, try to get back up here. So we got to pay attention to this. We got to pay attention to what's going on after hours. Then we wake up tomorrow morning, see what the setup looks like, see what the open looks like. And that's how we're going to day trade this. Ultimately, if you're longer term, you know, if you're already in a trade trying to take this thing down, well, you just have to keep, you know, managing that trade. So if we hop over to, what are we on? Yeah, we're on the continuous. That's definitely good enough. But I would say, let's see here. We jump over to ES. Remember this? This beautiful little support area here. Pulled through it. Now we're back above it. Definitely found some respect there, didn't we? This is why I look at multiple charts. Look at it on SPY. Yep. So there you have it. This is kind of where we are. So what I will do, I'm going to try to do these videos 2 or 3 days a week for a while. I'm going to start putting some content on the socials, as will Balbs. And we have our own personal ones as well, but we actually have them set up for investing OGE. So we'll start doing that as well. If you are interested in the room, investingoge.com, no commitment. You know, I mean, you don't have to commit to anything. Check it out. Feel free. Ask questions if you like. Yeah, outside of that, I would say have a fantastic day, have a fantastic night, and possibly see you tomorrow. Peace.